Well, as a long-term Tesla driver coming from a massive Tesla Model S, I now find myself with the Renault 5 EV, one of the most popular cars in Europe and now in the UK as well. So with my time with this one on the road, nearly 3 weeks, what have I found that surprised me the most? And there's a couple of things in there that I'm going to tell you, they will surprise you as well. So here is my top 5. This is Dave Takes It On. I'm Dave. So regular viewers will know we're out on the road all the time, and we found ourselves today in front of the Woodsman. We're in Leyland. This is near Preston, northwest of England. Oh, and a gorgeous smell coming out of the pub and the restaurant, whatever you call it. We're also in front of a couple of Osprey chargers. These are dual bays, and yes, they got CHAdeMOs here as well. So it's 75 kilowatts for the CCS2 and 63, strange number, for the CHAdeMO. And once again, bright yellow, we've got our Renault 5, which we've had on extended test for the last 3 weeks. So without much further ado, let's just get on with it. Well, starting at number 5, it's really beginning to show my age on this. I'm sure this is aimed at the millenniums who are much more internet savvy than I am. It is this little Renault character. I don't even want to say his name, but every time you're driving along, it pops up. It listens to every word I say, and it keeps on going, I don't understand that question. And I say, I didn't ask you a question, I was talking.
Unfortunately, I can't help you with that.
Oh, I didn't understand the question. It is so annoying. It is not a helper. It's supposed to, I believe, help. And maybe someone who's 20, 50 years younger than me might appreciate that or laugh at it or find it amusing. Me, it's so annoying that first thing I did when that started popping up all over the place was I got my eldest son to find a way of turning it off. And the really good news is you can. Now, while Hey Renault was a really annoying feature that should be banned from all cars, number 4 is actually quite the opposite. It's something that you don't find on many EVs, and it should be on every single EV ever made or ever about to be made. So let's have a look what it is. We're dealing with the charging side of the business, and here is the charger port. Simple push button opens. It's not that, by the way, there's a lot more going on. You've got your normal plug, CCS2 of course in the normal way, there's no difference there. You've got a push button there which tells the car whether the charging port is closed or not. And look down here, we've got an off button and we've got a padlock. Now, let me explain. When we go out filming, the number of times we come across cars which have got the plug locked into the socket and there's nothing they can do to break it. I came across one on the M6 up north. A gentleman had a Polestar, and it turned out that the Polestar does not have any sort of button anywhere on it or on the app to release this, and it relies on the charger to release it. And unfortunately, he'd set it to 100% state of charge, and he only wanted a short charge, and he couldn't get off it until it got up to 100%, which took ages and spoiled his day. So we find it also Chester East services on the M56, where a Nissan Leaf was actually stuck in, and there was a GridServe engineer trying to get him off at the time. So the feature here is the little padlock. Now, what does it do? It's really simple, so intuitive. If you are plugged in and charging, and the car is unlocked, so don't worry, nobody can come here and just turn it off on its own. As long as the car is unlocked, if you press the button, the charging session stops instantly and the plug is released instantly. We're going to show you this in action because it is so impressive to see. You can just wander up and without a worry in the world, you can end any session, any charging session that we've ever tried. And we've tried pretty much all the chargers. You just press that button, session ends, you can pull the plug out. So let's press that while it's charging and see what happens. The contactor's killed. That now comes out. And that is such a useful feature. Coming from a Tesla, we have the opposite, where the button is on the charger if we're using a Tesla supercharger, and that does very much the same thing, but it also controls the flap. But that on every EV I think should be absolutely compulsory. It's just peace of mind. Doesn't matter what the charger's doing, what your app is doing, what your display is doing. If you want to end the charge, as long as the car's unlocked, and these are proximity, so when you walk towards them they do unlock, press the button, you can pull the plug out, end of subject. And I think that is a really, really good feature that has surprised me on this Renault 5. Okay, so we come from a positive and we're coming back onto the negative side, and that's the driver assist features. Now, we're not talking safety here. Safety features on virtually all the cars are absolutely brilliant. They're designed to protect you. What we're talking about here is the driver assist. These are the features that are meant to help you. And in some cases, they actually actively work against you or really frustrate you. The first one I came across, I have found a way around this, by the way, and it's quite logical once you know it, but nobody tells you this, and that is the auto cruise, the cruise control, adaptive cruise control, whatever you like to call it. And this is where you're coming down a slip road on the motorway and you're doing 50 miles an hour, you join the motorway, and in front of you is a set button for setting auto cruise or cruise control, and if you press that, it will default and set the cruise control to whatever speed you're doing, 51 miles an hour. So annoying, and nobody actually educates you as to how to change that. So the only way out of it, before I found the fix, was to switch it off again, accelerate manually up to 70 miles an hour, and then set it again. And then it would set at 70 miles an hour. There is a little button on the steering wheel which will actually do that for you. It will ignore the set button, which always sets the speed you're doing, and it will allow you to set whatever the speed limit it's showing. So there is a workaround, but they don't tell you these sorts of things. It's not intuitive. The set button doesn't. But the speed limit also brings me back to the second bit of this, which really annoys me, and that is it doesn't always know what the speed is doing. It doesn't always know what road it's on, and sometimes it mixes the two. Let me give you an example. We joined the motorway down the slip road, we got onto the motorway, and for some reason the dashboard was saying speed limit 70 miles an hour. The cruise control was saying it's 50. And every time I accelerated above 50, it was bing, 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 you're speeding, you're speeding. We're on a 4-lane motorway. It says 70 miles an hour, but this thing thinks it's 50. And there is no way of overriding it that I have yet found. That is so annoying because I know it's 70, the car shows it's 70, and yet it won't let you do it. Now, the way round it was a really stupid one, and that is you come to some roadworks and there's a big 50 sign, the car goes, oh, and it changes the dashboard to 50, and then when you get to the end of the roadworks and it says de-restricted, it goes 70 and lets you go to 70. It's a crazy system, but if the car believes the speed limit is not what it actually is, there's very little you can do to override it. Now, number two, we're back on the positive side again. There's a lot to say for this car that's really positive. But are you one of these fastidious people, or what do they call them, OCD, who has to have everything just right? Have you ever been for a picnic, and at the end of the picnic, you've noticed there's a load of crumbs all around, and it just upsets you? You can't leave it. You need the vacuum to clear it up before you can go home. If that's you, boy, have I got something for you. And it's, yeah, I'm not going to hold it like that because that's, yeah, say no more. What's this? Very, very simple. On one end, you have a Type 2 socket. That fits in there perfectly. On the other end, you have, look at that, a 3-pin socket. So at the end of your picnic, you simply plug this into your car, plug your vacuum cleaner into that, hoover up your crumbs, unplug it, and off you go home again. It's so simple. But no, on a serious note, these are brilliant. So this is something called vehicle to load, and it just allows you to plug in your vacuum cleaner or your sandwich toaster or your kettle or your Tassimo machine or whatever it is you want to make your life very much easier. Or if you go down the beach with the kids and you've got big inflatables to blow up, put an electric pump in there. Saves your lungs, saves you getting all lightheaded. Brilliant feature. It will advance in future years to vehicle to grid. Totally different subject, but vehicle to load is so useful at this stage. Now, number one was a really strange one for me coming from a Tesla because it is regen braking. Having driven a Tesla for years and years and years, it simply, you just get used to the regen braking that Teslas have. It is very, very powerful. And it also allows you to come to a complete stop. It's called one pedal driving. So when you're driving along, you keep your foot on the accelerator. As you're approaching a set of lights, at a certain distance before it, you just take your foot off the accelerator. The car will coast quite quickly down to a stop and stop. And it's a fantastic feature. Love it. Takes a bit of getting used to, but on this one, it actually had me totally baffled. And I'll tell you why. I'd searched all the controls and everything else to try and find out the regen, because when I first drove this one, I took my foot off the accelerator and it just kept going. It's as if there was no braking at all. It's more like pushing in the clutch on a petrol car and just coasting. It had no effect at all. And when I was driving around, I was getting very, very poor economy. It was doing between 2.9 and 3 miles per kilowatt hour, which on a car like this is appalling. It should be 4 or more. So I was trying to find the button to press to change the regenerative braking from almost nothing to something worth having. Took a long while, but eventually I found it. It's on the gear lever. You pull the gear lever down into drive. If you pull it again, it switches into B. It is so simple. There should be an indication on the screen which mode you're in, rather than just a little letter in the top corner. Anyway, once I switched it into B, the car transformed itself. It was a different beast altogether. The economy leapt up to between 3.9 and 4 miles per kilowatt hour. I mean, I've been losing about a third of the total range of the car, and it began behaving much more like something that I was used to with one pedal driving. It won't do one pedal driving, but that's not the end of the world, because now it will bring you down to almost a stop, but the last couple of miles an hour, it just then creeps. An awful lot of comments I get on the channel are about one pedal driving and how when you first do it, it's horrible because you take the foot off the accelerator and slams on the brakes. But after a short while, it's just lovely to do. You don't need to press your brake pedal. Everything is just done on the accelerator. It would be nice for this to have it. But the really strange thing from my point of view is no Tesla ever made has had any sort of control to be able to turn the regen off. And the reason they don't is because without regen, they have rubbish range. So why on earth do we get a control which allows you to turn regen off? Because you might forget and then drive around town for a week and all of a sudden you're down at 2.93 miles per kilowatt hour. Doesn't make any sense why that's a feature. You either have regen or you don't. If you've got regen, make it a decent strength. If you can, make it one pedal driving. It would improve the car dramatically, but it does have regen braking and that massively affects the range. So am I really nitpicking? Am I spoiled having come from a Tesla to a Renault 5? You might think so. It would be interesting for you to have a look at the full review of this car after we've been driving for a couple of weeks, and you'll be able to find that in our playlist. And that gives a much broader scope on it. But this one is just the 5 features that have really surprised me, shocked me, angered me, irritated me, just the things that really stand out. So thanks very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this one, please click the like button. If you'd like to see more like this, please subscribe, hit the notification bell. Massive thank you to our ever-growing band of Patreon members and YouTube members for the support you give to the channel. Thanks for watching. I'm Dave.